This episode is brought to you by Dance Zone Performing Arts Center. Dance Zone Performing Arts Center is an independently owned and operated school for dancers with the passion to excel in a caring and nurturing environment. With over 30 years of professional dance experience, Dance Zone Performing Arts Center takes pride in offering high-quality dance education, award-winning choreography, and many opportunities to showcase their talents in the community and around the world. Dance Zone Performing Arts Center has high-energy classes offering students ages 2 and up. Top-level training from dance professionals. Students learn through the best positive reinforcement, and they work to build outstanding dancers in mind, body, and spirit. Excellent technique classes, performance, and competition opportunities allow students to develop into strong, confident dancers. Dance Zone is located in Elmsdale, Nova Scotia, and is currently taking registration for fall programs starting in early September. For more information, please go to dancezone.ca. And all right, we're going.
We're back?
We're back. We're live. We're happy. We're healthy. We're here at the High Button. What's up, dude?
Oh, not much, dude. Just been, I was planning to do this kind of a bit on a Monday because, like, the alliteration of it would be like Mondays, Munchies, and Music with Max. And
it works.
Random media. But it's, what is it, Wednesday, Thursday?
It is Wednesday.
Yeah,
I think
it's a day.
It's a good thing, I think, if you don't know the week. That means you're working hard.
Exactly.
Is that right?
There are no weekends. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could do it for Mondays.
Yeah, I think it would be great if we can aim to do that for Mondays, but in the future.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. This has to come out Friday, though. So
yeah,
for this one, it'll be Friday.
This one we'll do it Friday, but the next one will be Monday. Yeah.
And you know what, another thing that we could do, it doesn't even have to be a podcast version. We could do it, like, with the microphones, but just call it something separate.
Well, that's kind of what I envisioned. Or initially, I pictured me sitting on almost like a couch.
Yeah, or just where you are now.
Yeah,
but just the camera just like this.
Face on, talking about it, and then we can add the green screen photo or whatever it may be of the album cover, the art, and the photos of the food or the actual food, whatever it may be.
Yeah. For those of you listening right now and you don't know Kirsh as well as I do, he has a car and he drives around, and essentially what I always say to him, he is a mood setter, or he's like a vibe setter. Like, whenever we're in the car, he'll put music on. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Because the people that you play in this car, I have no idea who they are. It's not anyone that I know of, and you're just like, oh no, that's my homie from Toronto. Oh no, this is my homie from Calgary. Oh no, this is my homie from Vancouver. Like, you just know these people. You're able to set a mood with the music that they're playing, which is honestly, you could tell me, like, yeah, this was the weekend back when you was 16, and I would have believed you when you played Elko that time. I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? I got
artists like that too that I want to bring up today, and I want to show people, because there's some people that are making music in Canada, out of Toronto, out of, small cities like this, that are putting out complete fire. Like, it sounds like Michael Jackson, it sounds like The Weeknd, it sounds like Roy Woods. They've got this sound, and I think that in itself is becoming the new thing of Canada. I mean, Drake's got the Drake sound, the OVO sound. Yeah. But I think under that umbrella is this kind of Michael Jackson-esque, Weeknd style, in your own head kind of sound. But yeah, one artist right now, actually, I mean, may as well just cut to the chase. One of the artists I'm thinking of they're called Always Never.
Always Never.
Always Never. I can't remember the reason why they called themselves that. It was like, it's like the classic contradiction of some sort. But essentially, it was the internal battle I'll research it later.
Okay.
But essentially, yeah. So Always Never. They sound kind of like The Weeknd. They kind of sound like Michael Jackson. It's honestly, the sound is like, it's one that I really cannot explain. You really have to go out and listen to it. They actually, funny enough, a week after I got into them, they put out a full-length album on Apple Music and Spotify. So would recommend checking that out. And
Always Never.
Always Never. Yeah, no crazy spelling. Like always, that's what I'm always thinking about. Never gonna say it like. Oh.
Where does your ear come for this thing? Like, how do you find these people? Are you just deep into SoundCloud, like at night, like looking for these artists? Or
SoundCloud, I used to be on Hype Machine quite a bit. I find that's kind of I'm taking a bit of a hiatus on that just because I'm not finding as much good music going through there anymore, but that used to be a huge place for me. Apple Music, Spotify, I make sure to follow all these new artists that I'm liking and that I'm enjoying their sound, so that the algorithms and the little musician robot people behind the fucking scenes at Apple, they can send me more music like that. And as a result, I've got this whole repertoire of artists that I don't feel like too many people know about, hence why I wanted to do this kind of podcast thing.
Well, it's an interesting skill set that you have, man. I definitely I admire the way you're able to see talent before it's polished, I think is what your skill set is at. And you see potential, and you're able to add your own Kirsh spin on it.
Yes.
And I think that's your gift, if you ask me.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, since I was a kid, I grew up playing piano. And I mean, as a result, I trained my ear back then to listen to the semitones and the notes, and I learned a bit of theory, and I did the footwork. But now I'm in a position where I'm able to help some of these musicians, which is why I'm always looking for these musicians and these new people that are really not entirely familiar with the whole music scene. Yeah. So, I mean, people like Always Never, I think they're killing it right now. To me, it appears they're doing a fantastic job. Yeah. But that's why I want to talk about them, because I felt like not that many people know about these kings. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of them's last name is Kirsh. That's pretty cool. That's my last name.
Is he family?
No, I think it's actually spelled with a C, like German, like cherry, Kirsh.
Oh, yeah.
Kirsh, something like that.
So you're saying they, but you also said Michael Jackson and The Weeknd, which are one person. So Always Never is a band.
Yeah, so Always Never, from what I understand, there's the producer, and then there's this Kirsh guy who helps with the vocals. Yeah. And I mean, they've had a couple, I don't even know if they were considered singles, but they released a few tracks on SoundCloud, and those got a ton of traction. So I was following them and, listening to them in the car, and suddenly a new album, which is insane. So I've been listening to that on repeat the last week or two.
How many songs are on the album?
I'd say it's got to be over 10, I think.
You ever notice that like some artists now, they're only doing like 6 songs on an album? Like Kanye's was like that, Pusha was like that, Kid Cudi was like that. There's a couple, I think maybe not.
Well, when you come to think about it, it's every artist is going to do that, because every artist has a different idea of
what great is, perfection is,
of what their vision for their musical creation is. It's like some people envision this whole 12-track masterpiece that's got an intro and an interlude and all this. Other people will just want a simple 5-6 songs. Like, I want my listener to be captivated. These are all bangers. I don't want them to have to listen to a couple now, turn off their phone, listen to a couple later. I mean, there's so many different things when an artist takes into consideration when they're putting out their music. So, I mean, it's always interesting to watch that as well from a listener point of view. Like, why are they only putting out this song? Yeah,
that's my perspective. Why?
Yeah. And I mean, we'll find out. Yeah. There's been that song with Travis Scott and Drake,
Sicko Mode.
That's the one. Yeah. So, I mean, Drake does his little bit at the beginning, and then suddenly the song is completely different. Yeah. It's like, why did that happen?
So do you think that there's a mathematical equation behind that? Like, do you think they're trying to capture people's imagination behind that? Like, do you think that's an actual,
I'd say it's a creative
hypnotizing technique? Like,
it's a creative thing. It's a creative aspect of their music. They're breaking down the walls, so to speak. They're breaking down the conventional ways of doing things, and they're like, screw it, I'm gonna have this song. We're going to do a quick feature, then we're going to totally change the song. What's the reason for this? Only we know, until we put out our next project, or, maybe there's going to be a continuation. Who knows? But the fact that we're here talking about it, that is art to me, when art makes you think. So, or when anything makes you think, I consider that to be art. So even if your song is complete garbage, but you put a couple lines in there that like could be like double to quadruple entendres, it's like, I'm going to sit and think about that, and I'm going to call this art.
Yeah. If something makes you think a different way, then if you're waking up and having the same thought process, there's nothing going on in your life, but you look at a piece of art, listen to music, listen to a podcast, and it makes you, I'm going to go this way, and because of this thought, because of this image, I think that's art. And it's a cool thing.
Totally agree. And perfect segue into my next artist that I wanted to talk about. The other day I woke up and it was a beautiful sunny day outside. It was probably 11 a.m. It was just very fortunate I got to sleep in. And so I go out, and it's just so nice, but I wasn't feeling the feeling of the sunny weather. So then I threw on some Jesse Royal. He just came out with an unbelievable new track. I got to double check the track name, but I've listened to it in the car for the last probably 2-3 days since I found it. Yeah. And this puts me in a mood. Jesse Royal. So he came to Halifax for the Jazz Festival 2 years ago. Okay. And I had the pleasure of connecting with him there, and he's a homie to this day.
Where's he from?
He's from Jamaica.
Love it.
Reggae royalty.
Have you ever been to Jamaica? I'd love to go.
I have. I went to Negril back in the day when I was with my family. We did the classic cliff jumping and sit on the beach for way too long.
I'd love to get there.
It's a beautiful place. I mean, I now see the value of not doing anything on a beach for 2-3 weeks. But back then I was like, I want to do things.
Yeah.
I want to go out and go sailing, all that.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to get stir crazy. If I when I was younger, I'd be like, I'm going to sit here and not do anything. But now that I'm older, it's like it's kind of the opposite for me. Well, I find that if I'm sitting down for one place not doing anything, it's like I could be doing a million things right now.
Opportunity cost. You're literally just thinking about everything that you're not doing. Like, people,
time is money.
I think, what was it, the Puff Daddy movie or Diddy, whatever you want to call him, he had this movie, can't remember what it was called, but
Take Him to the Greek.
Get Him to the Greek.
Get Him to the Greek.
Great one though.
That was good.
But his whole premise behind the movie is like, you got to hustle. You got to be putting in that work. And what's happening when you're not, when you're sleeping? Mm-hmm. You could be doing stuff then. You could be making, building your empire. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, do
you think today, obviously right now it's the best time or best generation for artists not to sign with big labels and to go the independent route? Chance the Rapper, a perfect example. Do you think that's more realistic now and you're able to make a career off your art rather than signing with a big label?
I mean, I think that no matter what, you will, as an individual artist, you will always have certain limitations. No matter what, everything's got its pros and cons. So having a label on your side, that would be beneficial in very many different ways. But there's also certain limitations as to what kind of content you control, what rights you own. I mean, there's so many different ways of structuring different deals with different labels. So, I mean, you can be I'm sure you can be co-managed or they can own half of the rights to some of your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many different ways to do it. But the fact of the matter is, these labels are only labels because they provide benefits. These benefits being capital, logistics. They've got everything you need pretty much solved and down to a formula, a science that they can just apply to each of their new musicians. Mm-hmm. But again, it's an agency kind of relationship. They're helping you in return for a little bit of money and a little bit of equity, whatever it may be.
Is there any managers or anything like that you admire?
Oh, dude, this is something, I mean, I think the way I'd recommend that every single person, after listening to this podcast, I want you all to go do a quick Google search. Whoever your favorite artist is that you're listening to right now, just find out their manager. Comment it in the comments, because honestly, any manager that has gotten the music of any musician into someone's ears to the point where that person thinks that it's their favorite artist, that's a good manager. Are you following that at all?
I'm following.
So, I mean, the fact that there's any manager of any popular artist, I'm sure there's going to be lots of people who are going to have bad things to say about all kinds of people, but it's like, when it comes down to it, I forgot what I was talking about. My phone.
That's all good. Do you think there's a point where you can spread yourself too thin when it comes to the management game? Because if you're a great manager, there's going to be other artists that get, okay, Kirsh is an amazing manager, I need him to manage me. So that's more money in your pocket. But at the same time, you can't put enough effort into all these artists at once.
And it's at that time when you're going to have to, make the decision to grow your team or not take the client.
Or you have to train other managers to know what you know.
Yeah, but that again, I guess it comes down to growing your team. You got to train people. It's a lot of work, which is why a lot of people might just be like, nah, I'm good with my couple of clients. But if it's worth it, and if it's gonna pay off in that massive of a manner, then it's worth putting the time into training and everything that goes into it.
Yeah, you have to have patience, because when it comes to training employees and training people to want to be like you, want to work like you, have the same habits as you have to be patient when you're teaching those skills. And a lot of people don't have that patience, in order to help build the characteristics, the skill sets that you have.
Yeah.
And plus, while you're training other people, you're losing money because you're not managing other clients. You're training other people. I mean,
it's a two-way street. It's really all about time management, and it's something I'm still learning every day. Time management is I think it's the most difficult skill in the world. I went to university. I mean, I can learn it when I'm on a schedule that it's make or break.
Yeah.
I'm going to not get my degree if I don't show up to these classes and don't show up to these exams and all that. But it's being able to manage your time and your projects is a huge task, and it's a huge responsibility that a lot of people kind of underestimate.
Yeah.
So you gotta have a strategy. You gotta have kind of a structure and as to how you do everything you do. And for me, that consists of iCloud and iCal, keeping everything in my calendar, and reminders, and I still use the good old-fashioned paper and pen kind of thing.
Old school.
Yeah, you know.
Whenever you ever go on YouTube on, I think it's Forbes, maybe. I think it's Forbes. Anyways, they do this thing where they talk to like successful people under the age of 30 and what their daily routine is. And whenever they talk to these people and their skill sets and how they're able to get so much work done in a day, it's time management. They wake up at the same time. They eat the same food every day. Sometimes they'll even get to the point where they wear the same clothes every day because they don't want to spend time picking out an outfit because it wastes time.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg is one of those guys. Wears the same thing every single day because every morning he doesn't want to waste time. What shirt am I going to wear? What pants? What shoes?
It's totally a thing, and I mean, when you come to think about it, that's one reason a lot of these schools and these, you send your kid off to this private school or whatever, they'll wear uniforms and stuff. It's because it gets rid of the fact that you don't have to think about that outfit in the morning. There's no more competition. It's like you're gonna wear what is, it's practical.
Yeah.
It just gets rid of that whole. It just gets rid of a lot of things.
I think when it comes to, when they say, okay, this person is very successful because they are obsessed, I think that is a form of obsession. If you're able to commit to the exact same clothes every day, the exact same routine, the exact same time of going to bed, waking up, working out, same even haircut, just the same in particular moves that you make on a daily basis, that's obsessive. And I think that's what that means.
Yeah, in a sense. And I mean, sometimes it's easy to be obsessive. Sometimes it's very difficult to be obsessive. It's a matter of obsessing over the right things.
But yeah, I'm obsessed about this podcast. If I wasn't obsessed about this, I'd do it once a month. But I fucking love talking to people. I'm obsessed with it.
No, I totally see that. I mean, I'm obsessed with music, and I'm obsessed with, I'm obsessed with doing and helping and growing. And as a result, here we are talking about music and how to grow and how to be better and all that. So, I mean, it's really, if you obsess yourself on partying, which I've also done, certainly.
Yeah, me too.
done the liver damage thing, and it's like, it's just, you pay the price. You got to really prioritize, and it's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a good thing to learn at a younger age,
Oh yeah.
Some people don't learn it until they're a bit older. If you're able to hone your skills and know what you're good at under the age of 25, 26, so you're able to shine them by the time you're 30, you're a master in what you do. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Find what you love.
My one thing to counter that is really just don't burn yourself out. Don't work too hard too young. I was there in grade 6, like, dude, I gotta get 100 on this test, bro.
You were that guy, really?
Bro, grade 6 through grade 12 through university, I was always trying my best. And in the grand scheme of things, I've come to realize D's do get degrees.
Yeah.
So many of my peers got D's. I think I got a D or close to it. And it's like, I still got my degree. I still did very well, and I'm still working very hard. But if I stopped working, then I wouldn't have that degree. And it's just a matter, degrees... Yeah, you got to put yourself to the task. You got to fucking work.
What's your thought on school?
I mean, everyone...
Post-secondary education, sorry. Not school, just...
I see the value in it. I certainly think that it's worth, if you can put your mind to it, then why not do it? And if you're able to, pay for it or get some funding, if why not learn more? The way I'd love to be able to go to school my whole life, but it's also not practical because I got to make the money to pay for the school and all that. But I mean, I also know people that don't go to school, that dropped out of school, and they're doing probably way better than I am. It's just a matter of how you do things, and there's working hard versus working smart, and it's tough to balance. Like I said, everyone's at a different rate, but you can't go comparing yourself to others, which is something that I learned through school, through university.
One thing I think that you and I both can agree on is that, don't get me wrong, I think school is great for some people. I think other people have different mindsets and they're not able to obtain the information that teachers are giving to them on a daily basis. I was definitely one of those kids that sat in a class and I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? I need to get out of here. I was going stir crazy. So I know there's tons of people out there listening right now that had that problem when they were younger. But one thing I definitely do agree on, and you can find this in school, but you can also find it in other places in the world, is just a mentor. I think you're in that situation right now where you want to learn the music business. You want to learn how to grow whatever the hell it is you want to grow. And I'm sure you're going to do that. But in order for you to do that, you need a mentor. Yeah. And the same thing with me. I have a mentor. I have someone that I talk to every day, and it's helped me grow as a person and in business too. Yeah.
I mean, mentors are key. I think we even spoke about this briefly on the last podcast we did. And I mean, every life-changing step, I'll call it, every big key decision that I've made in the last few years, it's been influenced by a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
The decision to go to school and to complete my degree, that was, I mean, my mentor at that point was my father.
Yeah.
Then,
I'd like to meet your dad.
I'd love you to meet my dad.
He seems like a really, really cool guy.
Hey, he's a chill dude.
Yeah. Where's he right now? At the cottage, chilling?
Honestly, I don't even know. Where is Les today? But yeah, he's probably doing his thing, being a boss.
There you go.
Love that guy. But yeah, I mean, what was I talking about again?
Mentors, your father,
Yeah,
chill
so
guy.
I mean, going through school and part of the whole university kind of guidelines for my program, we had to do a co-op. Co-op placement. So I ended up interviewing a couple of people from my co-ops, and we needed to do a co-op report. I spoke to people about different industries, and I truly targeted what I should be focusing on through my mentors. These people that I was interviewing, they told me like, oh dude, you cannot be doing this. You got to be doing this. You totally don't think that way.
Really?
So as an example, I mean, when I was doing the radio and the marketing stuff, the guys at the radio station, they're like, yo, how were you an accountant? I'm like, I don't know. I just like sat there behind the desk and did numbers and stuff. But like the way I think and the way I talk to everyone,
yeah,
I started to question myself. Like, how was I an accountant? I mean, at the same time, I still look at all that stuff and I'm like, yo, that was very valuable stuff. And I'm still considering going back and doing all that. But it's like, I got to focus my time and my energy and into something I'm passionate about. And it transitioned from accounting because I thought there was an extremely successful career, which 100% there is, into marketing and music and media, because that's something that, you know, I grew up, do something happy, you know, do something that makes you happy, do something that's, you know, you've always wanted to do with your life, because I didn't have that option. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, I got to start now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's led me down this musical, you know, media pathway.
Well, I think, yeah, if you love what you're doing, you're going to work your ass off at it. You don't really consider, you do consider it work, but you're going to work towards something that you love, not towards an accounting job that,
I mean, I might do that at
not that there's wrong with
well.
anything accounting. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's the thing, is I still very much see the value in that. And it's the fact that I can literally just apply to any of these many companies and be like, hey, I can do this. I did this for this long. Do you need my help? And they're like, here, $35 an hour. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
But
hey, artists need accountants.
100%. If you do, reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with my father. They do,
There you go.
We'll
The connections are real on the High Button podcast.
Honestly, we do all kinds of things here at the High Button.
So what other artists are you thinking of right now?
So right now, I figured I'd just go through a quick list of...
Go ahead.
Well, the track by Jesse Royal, just to loop back to that, is called My Time to Shine.
My Time to Shine?
Yeah, it's got DJ Frass. So yeah, shout out one time to Jesse Royal. Killing it. I don't know if you heard Quake's new track.
I thought he released the whole... Oh, no, the album's not out yet.
Album's coming out soon, but Quake's track with Rhea May, If It's Not Too Late. Very, very well done. Very well polished sound. Another, I'm just going to list a couple off here because, we're...
The listeners will appreciate this. Go ahead.
So we got Masego, spelled Masego, and I've been listening to him for probably over a year now, probably 2 years or so. And this guy, he does all these live studio sessions on YouTube, so he's really entertaining to watch, but he's also a man of many talents. Like, he's got one song that's called I Do Everything, and he just lists off all the instruments he plays, everything he does, and it sounds so good. So that's another dude I'm listening to right now, Masego. I've been listening to him for time. Brass Tracks, that's a big one. I don't entirely recall where they're based out of, but they've done, what was that, EXO Party Lifestyle, the one?
I don't know.
Look up Brass Tracks, you'll find they've got all kinds of great stuff, but the most from them is called Too Far, Too Fast.
Okay.
And that is a listen and a half. Big fan of that. Let's see what else we got here. Iron and Wine just released a new track. If you're kind of looking for a good sleep vibe, it's nice to kind of put on some Iron and Wine if you've never heard of them.
Is that who was on at the restaurant the other day?
That is who was on at Tang Shun.
Oh yeah, shout out to Tang Shun. They're a great sponsor of the High Button. So if the video is actually not, it'll be out by the time this podcast is out.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So make sure to go watch that video. That was a great restaurant. High Button listeners, go support Tang Shun.
Yeah, also delicious food, worth
fantastic food.
Trip.
But no, they were great. Iron and Wine. They set a mood.
Oh yeah,
it was your kind of music.
I love it. I mean, anything that's going to influence my mood, I'm cool with that. For those that are more into the kind of EDM scene and kind of the electronic, produced music, if you haven't yet checked out San Holo, worth checking out San Holo. I think that's a play on like a Star Wars character.
Definitely.
It's like Han Solo switched up, something like that.
That's his name? Is he a rapper?
No, so he's the DJ, he's a producer.
Okay.
And he puts out really unique remixes and mixdowns of all kinds of music from James Vincent McMorrow, who's kind of similar to Iron and Wine.
Okay.
He makes that into kind of like an electronic style upbeat tune. He features all kinds of artists, and he's got a real unique sound.
Okay.
Always worth mentioning, Devonte, killing it in Toronto, just put out a track with Cardinal Official. It's called Real Rude Boy. And if you're into the kind of Toronto sound, the Drake sound, you might mess with this. So would recommend that. Another track, Russ, the flute song. I cannot stop listening to that track. You can all hate on Russ for stealing your beats or for doing whatever,
Yeah, someone said he has a bad rap. I've heard that.
Yeah, haters make the world go round yet again.
I guess.
But yeah, the fact of the matter is his music is unbelievable.
Where's he from?
I believe he's from Toronto. I don't know whereabouts in Toronto, but
okay.
I also could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments.
Russ. He has some hits. You know who else has hits is those Ray Shermer. Those guys have some hits.
Yeah, and Sway Lee.
Those guys have hits, like records for the club.
No, 100%. I'm just looking through the other music that I got here recently. Let's see. You got any good music lately? What you listening to?
I listen to what you tell me to listen to, man. Every recommendation. That's why we're doing this right now on the podcast, because everyone that's listening, the music that this gentleman has is great.
Oh, well, you know who? Thank you.
You're welcome.
One person I actually only just discovered recently is Sheck Wes.
Sheck
Wes. Yeah. He's just, I don't know what it is about his sound. It's
so simple.
It's bass heavy.
Yeah.
And it just gets me in the mood,
As soon as I found out that White Trash Tyler did one of his videos, one of his first ones, I was like, oh, who is this guy? Listen to his songs. I think he only has like 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah, he doesn't have too many out right now, but Mo Bamba and Chippy Chippy. I think Tyler did the video for Chippy Chippy.
Okay.
Crazy stuff.
Drake gave Sheck West a shout out. That shit wetty like I'm Sheck on the last Sicko
was Sheck not at the concert? Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who went to any of the Drake shows, but I swear it was maybe the second or third night in Toronto. I guess there were only 2 after all the shenanigans, but one of the nights in Toronto, I thought that Sheck West came out. I know Travis Scott certainly came out.
Well, him and Travis are boys, I'm pretty sure, because Sheck West is boys with Tyler, and Tyler goes everywhere where Travis Scott goes. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought.
Pretty crazy stuff.
But no, he's great. Sheck West.
Yeah, big bass heavy tunes, big tunes.
It must be fun, man, for an artist like that, like get a huge shout out from Drake, and it's just like, wow, like that puts me on the map. Like a guy like that you can literally change a career. And I think Drake is good for that. He's great for helping guys out. That
stimulated the musical industry in Canada. Even if you don't want to admit it, he did. Sorry, dude.
I would not know who Block Boy is. I would not know who. What's the song he did with Tuesday? What's that guy's name?
McConan.
That guy. I would not know who a lot of rappers are if it weren't for him. The Weeknd.
All these people brought each other up through Drake. And Drake, you got to give Lil Wayne credit, and Birdman for giving Lil Wayne his. There's all kinds of controversy as to who was first, but they all done did it. So there's that.
I don't understand rap beef. I don't understand how people could be so upset when they're making so much money on something that they love.
I mean,
I guess it's ego. I guess
and I guess you get to the point when you're making enough money that you gotta take that shit seriously, because you're dealing with a lot of money, and it may not seem like a lot to people who don't have a lot, but it is a ton of money. So you gotta be greedy in order to get that money. You got to draw the line.
And controversy kind of makes the rap world go around a little bit. Like when Drake and Pusha T went there, the whole world was tuned into that, even if you didn't like rap.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just controversy.
Just knew that there was a rap beef, even if you're listening to Taylor Swift. It's like, but there's still the beef.
Yeah.
Music
industry's cool.
It's very unique. It's very interesting. And I mean, I plan to talk about this my whole life, but I could literally talk about this for days.
You know what's crazy to think is that there will always be new artists.
Oh yeah.
Like it'll never stop. There's so many people in the world that want to be rappers, that want to be singers, that want to be. It'll never stop.
Yep.
And if you can just pick out the weeds, man, make it happen.
That's what Drake in a way does. He's one of the biggest music curators in the world. When you look at it from the bigger picture, he's the one that's going through. Do you know how many emails all of his contacts must get every day about like trying to get seen by Drake?
It must be annoying.
It must be, but
that's what it comes. That's what
it comes down to is you could try and do that, or you can just show him what. Excuse me. Sorry. You can show him he's missing out. He's missing out on. He could be the one to introduce this next huge talent, and if you're that talented, he'll pick up on it. He's not a stupid dude.
He's a smart guy.
He is who he is.
He has his own record label too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all kinds of deals that I wish to be. I wish to just know about how they came about and how where'd they even start talking about this kind of thing. But it's like. He talks about these things. He's out every day working and hustling, making music and doing business deals.
He's a trendsetter, I think.
Oh, it's insane. He's a high-paid one at that.
He could wear a orange hoodie, and the next thing you know, all of Toronto will be wearing an orange hoodie.
Yeah, 6 Buzz.
He like creates like a fantasy world for people. When people listen to him, watch him, it's like, oh, that guy's not living real life. He's living a movie. He's capturing people's imagination.
Yeah, it's like the new James Bond.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what I would do to drive these cars and drink these drinks and feel like such a boss.
But I think anything successful, especially in the entertainment industry, they just capture imaginations, man. Any music, like back when Mick Jagger and Kiss and all those rock and roll bands, back when we were obviously probably not even born, but they made people just want to rock out all day. And now rappers are kind of the new thing, and people just want to become rappers.
Oh, I mean,
same with movies, like you just mentioned James Bond. People want to be James Bond.
100%. I mean, there's this new movie I just read about. Did you ever read that book back in the day? I think it's like Scary Stories in the Dark or something, and it's like 3. I'm sure that some people are going to know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, just like look up Scary Stories in the Dark movie remake.
Okay.
But there's a new one of those coming out, and it's like, that's a huge thing. Every kid in Ontario at least, they read that book growing up. It was like the top seller through Scholastic Books.
What was it called again, sorry?
I think it was like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yeah. So that's going to be coming out with a movie soon, and this girl from my high school just got casted, and it's like crazy.
Where are they filming it? Toronto?
I couldn't even tell you. It's I don't even know. But it's all over online. I'm looking at it right now. Guillermo del Toro's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
That's a familiar name, Guillermo del Toro.
He's done some big stuff.
That rings a bell.
Let me read into him. He's
I've said this on the podcast before, but I love movies that have low budgets because if it's a lower budget, the story has to be better. Oh, yeah. You can have a movie that has a high budget with a shitty story and people are still going to go see it because there's a million explosions in it and people are obsessed with that shit. Yeah. But like if you ever have a smaller budget film with a great story, I think that could sell just as well as if you have a $100 million budget. If you have $24 million, that's it's sad that's considered a low budget movie, but you can make shit happen with that.
I mean, whenever I think about low budget movies, I think of the fact that I was in a movie theater puking when I was watching that Cloverfield movie. You ever see that?
Yeah, this is shot with an iPhone, right?
Shot with it's like a Sony Handycam.
Yeah.
And you can tell it was so low budget, but the story and the editing was absolutely outrageous. So that did extremely well in the box office.
I want to see what the budget was on that.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Because it says it on Wikipedia how much it was, and then... so the budget was $25 million,
which is outrageous, and they just did it on a little Sony Handycam,
and they made $170 million.
That's a good return on investment, if you ask me.
They captured people's imaginations, man. That's what they did.
Yeah,
I love the film industry, man. I think it's so interesting.
I just love industry, bro.
Yeah,
there's so many industries that I just aspire to be involved in somehow, and I think, at least for me, it's like, imagine I just found the next song that would be used in this amazing new movie that's coming out. It's like, all it takes is getting it placed, putting it in the right,
Perfect example. Didn't Quake song just get mentioned? Quake and KO, they're just in the UFC.
Dude, that was a crazy, crazy deal. I mean, that's something I'd love to learn about too, but they've got a feature a sync deal for UFC. And so they were used, I don't remember what the number fight was, but if you just look up In Search of a Dream, Quake, KO, or if you look up UFC, KO, Quake, you'll find it. It's legendary. It's also worth the watch and also worth listening to the song, In Search of a Dream.
Did you see Quake's new album cover? It's kind of cool.
Oh,
He's
it
like,
looks on.
his hat's tilted. He's smoking a cigarette. It's like there's like a sunrise or sunset in the back.
No,
it's kind of cool.
It's gonna be good. He wouldn't build anticipation for nothing, so I'm certainly looking forward to checking that out when it's ready.
Well, the first couple singles have been good.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm
excited for it.
I've honestly never heard anything from Quake that I do not like.
Yeah, we were listening to. What was I listening to yesterday? Fairview Flows. Ever heard that song?
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite. Does KO have anything coming out?
Oh, he's always got something.
Something on the go.
Yeah, no.
So he was in Toronto. You met up with him when you were there?
We linked up in Toronto. He came up to the cottage. It was a good chill. We went sea-doing together. I mean, it felt like a
family reunion.
Felt like a family reunion.
There
it
you
feels
go.
like a brother, and it's I feel very honored that he's down to put out this crazy music and allow me to be in these studio sessions checking out the stuff that they're doing.
I love studio sessions. Quake's brought me to a couple. I feel really out of place, but I love.
But you start to that out
the
of
environment
place becomes the in place.
Yeah,
like, I'm supposed to be this random kid sitting here that
fly on the
doesn't
wall,
look like anyone else, that doesn't sound like anyone else. Like, I'm just sitting and observing.
It is amazing the amount of work and effort and detail that goes into 3 words.
Yeah,
like, oh, I didn't say that word how I liked it. Delete it. Let me say it again, and then
say it again, and then we gotta layer it. Oh, it didn't come through properly. Oh, we gotta redo the whole song now.
Yeah,
it's like, it's crazy. But they are obsessed with their music the same way we are obsessed with our with our everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it shows you that when you put your mind to it and you sit and you work, even if it takes a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah.
You'll get somewhere. If you're doing something every day to improve yourself or do something that's productive, you're gonna do something.
You'll get there.
That's it.
All right, man, we got to wrap this up. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. You'll be back.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, homie.
I love speaking to you. Everyone that's listening, thank you very much for the support. Make sure to go to all of our social media outlets, like, subscribe, comment, go to our iTunes page, and actually, if you could give us a rating and a comment, that would be great. I'm going to Vancouver this week, so I will be out of town, but content will still be coming. Doodle is just here, and it'll be good. High Button, we're out. We love you.
Boom. See ya.